There we go. Windows had an update, so of course all the sound went, and I forgot to check it. Anyway, we're back. Hello. You didn't miss anything. Yeah, no mic. I fixed it, Glee. New position. Yeah, so this is what I was saying in the chat earlier, which you will notice looks different. YouTube has a thing where it's not dual stream like multi-streaming, like, you know, Twitch, YouTube, Kick, and all that good stuff. When YouTube says dual stream, they mean you can do a horizontal, which is what we are now, and a vertical stream at the same time. And your vertical stream goes to like shorts and stuff. Just a little bit. So I was going to do that. I was like, okay, well, let me put everything over here on the right side on its own section, so it's not like got the board and everything behind it. And then I was going to, that's what the shorts people are going to see, the verticals anyway. But when you hit go live, that option goes away. So I was like, okay. When they first rolled it out, I didn't try it because it just automatically went in the center of the screen. I was like, well, I'm off to the side. Like, it was, didn't seem like it would work for me. It was like, it seemed like a very specific use case where you're having those just chatting streams and your person's in the middle of the stream. So, but they just recently rolled out something, I think, that lets you position that manually wherever you want. So I wanted to try it, but we'll do it for, I guess, our Moss and Stone stream later this week. Now that we know and we got it all set up and chat's working. No indication. So Glee, that has always been turned off. I can see it in OBS. It'll have where you're from on there, but I turned it off on the overlay, even though you can see the Twitch mod icon next to your name. And if your name, it has any color, you're from Twitch. But I did that because in some of the terms and conditions of multi-streaming on different platforms is you're not allowed to show where the people are from. So I'm just playing it safe, which I think is silly. I like knowing where they're from and seeing where the chat's happening, but that's exactly what they want to prevent. They don't want to see like, oh, more people, or I think it's mostly Twitch. YouTube doesn't care. Twitch doesn't want to see a bunch of YouTube chats come up and everybody be like, oh, well, they're all over on YouTube. I'm going to go over there. So, yeah. That's also Peter. What's up, man? I see you hiding in there. Your eyes keep going to the YouTube corner. I mean, technically, we could be over there. It doesn't matter if I'm right or left. The reason I did that is because I really like having OneNote docked on my computer. And when you do that, it shifts everything over, and I keep it docked on the right side. So the way you're seeing it, where the chat and I am is, that's where my OneNote is. But when it's there, it shifts everything over in OBS over. So Scrat with the strat in the back on a stack. Yeah, that's right. Well, I guess I should turn that off too then. What are you turning off? Dual stream? It's already off. Or no, I know what you're talking about. Your thingy for the chats, yeah. Probably. I mean, we're both too small for them to give a toot, but you never know. Twitch is not exactly known for their consistency on enforcing rules, so. Yeah, I would think my chat is glitched if I'm not seeing half of my message on stream. I like that you're looking to the correct side now. Oh, am I? Am I actually? Okay, yeah, because my screen's over. Okay. Looking at the board. That's why I got a crick in my neck, so I'm always looking over here. Even though my main monitor is right here. Anyway, is music good for you? Can you hear them tunes? I don't know if I turned it down too much or not. So anyway, I am back from the road trip. Oh, one more thing. You also notice with this fancy chat, who do I want to highlight? What message do I want to highlight? How about Blaze? Zow! Looky there. We can highlight messages now. I don't stream much, but I quit putting my chat in the video feed because now the chat is recording types of music. I did survive the road trip. Glee says the music's a little soft. Well, I'll turn it up just a smidgens. Because it's a good saxophone. But yeah, we can yeah, see there, we can pop that up. Got different templates I can use and whatnot. So I figured out how to get highlighted messages to be a thing. And I also, you can't see it from here, but I did figure out a good way to mark multiple messages and it puts them in a different category. So I have some interviews coming up. So when you guys post questions, I'll be able to mark them and they'll be on a list over here I can see. So how does one highlight a chat? So I have been using a tool called something. Social Stream Ninja. It's just a plugin for your browser and it works very, very good. It's a little hard to navigate, which one stream we were working on, but finally figured it out. There's the orc. Also, yes, the turtle is back. We will be getting a short in the near future. He came back while I was gone, so my life might be a wreck, but I at least have a turtle to hang out with now, so all is good. Yes, so bumping. Oh, I can just click him. Yeah, you finally got an in-person game done. How was it? So, Social Stream Ninja, skill him. Like I said, it's just a plugin for your browser. And there's Wes. We were just about to start talking about EcclesiaCon, Wes. So, my first game was nuts. We made that happen. Dave was 100% prepared for it and had a very large battle map and everything just all set up. I'm totally picking on him, but he ran a game. It was pretty fun. It was in the K-pop Demon Hunter setting, and I think some folks thought it was a K-pop Demon Hunter game, and I had to clarify a few times, like, no, it's whatever setting you want. So his first game sucked. Yeah, man, it was the absolute worst. Skillum, did you end up joining? I feel like I was in a couple games that you were just watching and ended up joining, and I can't remember if you joined that one. You did, I believe. Yeah, you were in that one, and then somebody joined. They had something come up and they joined like super duper late, but it was fun. That was a fun game. Rolling dice. It's good fun. Met some people that had been watching the channel, met some folks that I had been collaborating with, so like Wes and Dave. You were nuts, Ironbound and Mass Pause. Yeah, so I was gonna play the Ironbound, one or two of those games, but they started filling up, and I was like, well, let me make room for more newer people, so that way Dave can spread the good word that is Ironbound. So instead of me taking up space, so I backed out of one of them. You watch Streamline Superheroes was fun. We're gonna talk about that one in a little bit. Did you? No. I brought my own dice. I got a giant tube of them. I have the big Amazon pack you can buy for like $20. That's 140 something dice. I think it's 25 sets of dice, which are 7 dice each, something like that. So ooh, your mom's getting a tumor out of her today. Excited and a little afraid. We're understandable. Hopefully it all goes well. Last minute fill in on nuts. And did we actually have somebody that didn't show up for nuts? Well, you jumped, yeah, because Carrie was late. That's right. But y'all ended up started playing anyway, so wasn't much of a fill in. I'm trying to think. There's so many different things. I guess I can show off Mustache, who is not in the chat today. So I rode up there with Mustache, and it was a very long drive. We were both pretty tired, but Mustache had these things. These little pins you could wear. I don't know. Whoop. I can't really see what it says. It says my social battery, and you can. I need more hands. You can adjust your social battery. So that was fun. I just left mine on red. Here's me. I was a special guest. Looky there. Put turtle pick up. I could do that. Let me find it. Turtle. Where is it? Oh, there's pics of the con. I think I went too far. Did you delete the turtle pic? Where is it? Oh, you sent it. You texted that. That wasn't in Discord, was it? Well, anyway, let's see. Where's those con pics? I can put those up. Actually, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know if people want posted all over stream. Maybe I won't do that. Social battery pins. Yeah. There's Smug. He came back. Well, I think Wisp, you don't know how well you would utilize a pin like that. I think we were all mostly joking with them anyway. You have one in Biff. There we go. Yeah, man. Glee said he came back and was very dirty when he came back, so we're guessing he just woke up from wherever and came straight to the pond. And you can see he's got a little blueberry in front of him. Already, he loves his blueberries. So, that's cool. And the past couple years when he came around, he kind of had to like re-get used to you, but it didn't take very long. He just went straight for it this time. He was like, oh, there's the people. So, fed him some bell peppers last night. He was happy as a clam. Or as a turtle, I guess. Oh, man. Orc Mom's going in, too. Everybody's getting some stuff done. Kept mine full even though I was exhausted? Yeah. Blueberry. Clam turtle. Yep. So. I took my, my cat usually goes out there with me when I feed the birds and the turtle and everything. And, he usually gives the turtle a good sniff, and the turtle follows him around, and I was like, Crash, look, there's a turtle. I was holding him in front of him, and cat didn't care, and the turtle was like deeply offended and was chasing him across the yard trying to get to him, but the cat didn't want anything to do with it. You're a little hesitant in the video. He's like, well, but he still came right up to you. Like, he's on the ramp. He's not hiding. Before he would, turtle up. Sunlock, hey, man. Is that the Dragon Ball Z guy in the server? Usually don't see you hanging around in chats or streams. That's cool. Alright. Now, I didn't get anything at the con for myself, but I did get Glee a couple things. They had this little dice bag, and it had a little kraken on it. A pirate kraken, so of course I had to get it. And then I also got her this snazzy little notebook. I don't know if you can see the lines. It's just basic lines in it, nothing fancy. It's a nice little notebook. She's got a little notebook back there she uses for lots of notes. So I was like, hey, I'll get her another one. Not shown with several minutes of yapping to him. Papa recently had a bad one removed. They've gotten really good at removing those nasty bits from people. Yeah, they have. You got that baggie too? Nice. I wanted to get more of these notebooks. Like, she only wanted $5 for them. I was like, dude, give me like 3 or 4 or 5 of those, but they only had the one. She does not have Kraken branded dice. Might have to get her some. So, on that note, this was something I was kind of watching and noticed. So, I don't remember who it was, but It might have been Wes or somebody. I think we were just hanging on, or it might have been Peter when they were doing the trifold not too recently. And I already forgot what that one's called. Water, gators, teeth, water, oil, and teeth. I don't know. Anyway, it's the adventure I wrote for them. They were playing it, and I feel like somebody made the comment that it's faster to roll in person because your dice are right there. You just grab them and go, versus trying to find them on the VTT. And granted, owlbear might be a little slower, but I don't feel like rolling's too slow on a VTT. But when we were playing in person, there was a lot of, wait a minute, let me find the right dice. And then another thing I noticed was, yeah, something like that. I think that's what it was. It was an owlbear. But I noticed the people with the fancier dice were even slower because the fancy dice are too hard to read, which is why one reason I don't have any. I mean, the other big reason being I don't play in person very much. So, but they had a vendor there, and they had metal sets for $25 each, and if you bought 4 sets, you got a 5th one for free, and everybody was like, that's such a good deal. And I was like, I'll take your word for it. I'm not paying $25 for a set of dice that I can barely read, but I will admit they're very cool looking. But there was a lot of folks rolling like, is that a 7 or is that a 1? You know, having trouble reading them. Misty Mountain Gaming is what I have my eye on for a dice set. Woo-hoo. The Dragon's Revenge. Yeah, and ignore the fact that they don't actually have the apostrophe on all their logos or whatever. Drove me nuts the whole time I was there. Fancy dice or high visibility. Yeah, I know those. I've seen those. Those are nice. Made sure my dice were readable. So end of the day, I don't think it's any faster or slower than a VTT. Like, if you're not used to the VTT, obviously it'll take you a few extra seconds, but got a metal set there with blue writing that is decent to read. They had some really fun shaped ones. I really liked the one. It was like some kind of little goblet looking thing you could put a lid on, but each dice was like potion bottle shapes of different degrees. It was pretty cool. Readable. Legibility is the first thing you look for. Good idea. Translucent high visibility. With gray beards that aren't. Well, I'd say some of them are kind of slow to roll in. Like if you just. Well, Roll20 has the dice tray thingy now you can use. It's kind of out of the way, but like, yeah, some you just have to type /R or blah, blah, blah. It is a little clunky. If it's not something built into your character sheet, you can just click, but that's why I like the little dice rolling apps or VTTs where you just have the dice tray and you just click. And as soon as you click it, it throws out a die. So, ooh, I'm gonna monomakes or monomakey. Am I reading that right? Do we all have problems seeing? Because it seems, I mean, we're all a little blind. Think of Weird Al's World Crimes when I see an apostrophe where it shouldn't be. Or what is that are missing? Some dice are just pretty and non-usable. Yep. I was gonna say, there was lots of sets I would seem very cool. And another thing, the reason I don't get a fancy set is because I feel like a lot of dice you roll multiple dice, right? Like 2 or 3 D6, 2 or 3 D12. And it's like, if you just have one of everything, and I don't want to have to buy a fancy set 3 or 4 or 5 times. Especially the metal ones. They could weigh down your dice bag. What's up, Crabsoft? Why you always call me a nerd? Oh, less about the physicality for me. Doing in-person VTT, just like playing in person sometimes because it lets me break out of my shell where that otherwise wouldn't. You're very introverted. Well, me too. Despite being here on the YouTubes. Sonic Adventure vibes. It kind of does, doesn't it? I once saw a dice set that looked like spells. Those D4s were impossible to read. Oh, some dice are just pretty and unusable. Dumb. Yep. Yep, they are. Tourette's bothers me, so I'm not comfortable in random groups, but for some reason I am at the table. That's because you're in the zone, man. Beating up goblins. You know what I'm gonna do, so I'm not like constantly looking over there. I'm just gonna put you all over here. Just have OBS on my main screen. Oh, they were meant to be magic missile. I think I probably just missed it, but did you finally play? I did finally play at a table. We didn't talk too much about it. I'll circle my way back around there. I got translucents because then I know if they have bubbles or not. Oh, I got a pack of 8 sets on Amazon and they were surprisingly good. No need for fancy dice. Normal dice roll just as well. They do. And then when you know, inevitably lose them, no big loss. So anyway. And it sucked, right? Yeah, it's the worst. So I know I've been hearing ever since I got into this ttrpg thing, I've heard a lot that, well, you got to play in person. There's just nothing like it. It's so much better than VTTs. So I did, and I played Nuts. I played Streamline Superheroes. I played 2 games of Open Legend D6, and I was gonna play in the funnel, but it was too late at night, and we were tired and had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, so I backed out. I'll be honest, guys, I don't see any difference. Like, they have their pros and cons, but I would not say one was better than the other. Or Mass Pause, that's right. We played in Mass Pause too. Yes, what was that? Nuts, Mass Pause. 2 Open Legends. 5 games. Yeah. So yeah, no, it was a fun time. But I honestly didn't see that much difference, and I don't know if that's just because I'm used to doing things online. But I mean, being at the table reduces some communication issues that little quarter second of lag in Discord causes, and we've talked about that before. People talking over each other by accident, and then leading to the oh you go first, oh I'll go first, oh you go first kind of thing. It gets rid of that, but then there's like things in the VTT you can do that you can't do at the table, like dynamic vision and all that. But like, I don't know. I feel like might be a little silly to say playing online is an inferior experience, because it certainly didn't seem that way to me. I don't know if that's because I started with online, if I would see it differently or not. But so I guess my final test for that would be playing with friends in a regular setting, because cons are a little different, right? Like, you're kind of on a time schedule and you're like, okay, we have this much time, we got to get this done, and we got to go to the next game, right? It feels more like playing a lot of demos than like an actual proper game. I know a gal with a bone dice set. They feel weird, I bet. Fancy dice let you lie. Got some fancy sharp edge dice from a local con last year. Also have a set of 6-siders I put, together. They're all 70s office colors. Oh man. For me, I in person engage my brain. So I did notice that people were more focused at a table. They were less distracted. Now, that doesn't mean one way of playing is better than the other. That's just players not paying attention. But I did notice that people were a lot more engaged. Now, that said, and this is con specific, one game I played, the room was getting very loud, and I was super struggling to pay attention because there was just so much going on, and I'm one of those folks, and Skillum, I think you're the same way. You just can't filter out noise. You're hearing every conversation, everything that's being said, and despite trying to listen to the person in front of you, you're just getting all that other information and sound coming in, and you're processing all of it, and it's just so that was not very fun. But it was only that one game, and I'm not sure why that room got so loud. I like the snacks that come with in person. I mean, you can bring your snacks online. I'm a very animated person when I run games. I like using fun terrain and props, and I use body language a lot. Yeah, I could see that. The props were neat. So this guy that did Streamline Superheroes, I really liked what he did. He just had dominoes that he had painted gray. At least I think they were painted. I don't think they were just domino-sized and shaped gray bricks. But he just used those, and he'd drop them down for makeshift walls and make little arches or something whenever we needed it. It was really cool. And we just had our little tokens we were sliding around. And just like a handful of them, too. Not like a huge box. And it worked really good. You DM Tails can do... There we go. We'll put this on the big screen. Look at that. I can do dynamic vision at the table. Well, yeah, but can you do it for 3 or 4 or 5 players individually as they're running across the map on their own and getting killed? You made biscuits for your first werewolf table. Oh man, we're playing it twice. Oh, so yeah, before I forget. Well, no, hang on. I'll get there to a minute. Never mind. Let me catch up on chat. Cons are one-shots too. It's awful. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Skill, I'm like a more relaxed setting with friends. Yeah, not to move the goalpost, but playing a real campaign in one of your homes slowly for 12 hours. Yeah. Well, I would still only want to play for 2 or 3 hours with friends in a casual setting. I don't want to go much longer than that. We made mini pigs in a blanket and a pimento cheese platter. Mini buffet for the players and GM's great. You can't filter it out at all. Yeah, see, I'm the same way. Skillum, it's hard. Feel emotions in the room. Luckily, everyone's constant pretty. That was a very cozy con. It was a very good experience. How do you function? Well, Glee, not well. In case you haven't noticed. Hardwired to try engaging 20 conversations at once. John's game was great. It was. That was Streamline Superheroes. We've done that with Jenga blocks before too. You use a TV? Well, then you're just virtual tabletop at the table. You're combining the best of both worlds, which is smart. Skillum sends you all the positive emotions. Yep. It's singing. I don't want no singing. Let's change this here. Mo bass. Box of double 6 dominoes in my GM Go box. Very nice. Does doing different vision for 5 players actually? No, I actually am not a big fan of dynamic vision, Crabsoft. When I first got into this, I was having to use Roll20, and I was doing makeshift dynamic vision, so I would have to erase areas as they went into them. And I like that because it kept the party going into rooms together, because they're like, oh yeah, he can't do all this stuff, so let's just, it's like, all right, is everybody going to the next room? Okay, boop, and then reveal it. Made it easier on my end. I have a TV at my table, but also have a bunch of maps. Maps! I don't think anybody had a map. A battle map while I was there. Technically, there was one for the funnel, but I didn't get to play in the funnel, so. Everybody else just kind of had tokens. Mustache had some boats that he had 3D printed, which was super cool. I actually did a couple weeks ago for that next game, which is sadly on work-related hiatus. Oh no. It's called role-playing. Dominoes for Tyrannus. Dude, twice did. It works super good. Like I said, he just used a few at a time. Like one was, we were going through a cave, so he just 2 dominoes like this, 1 domino on top, like that's your doorway, and then he just had a couple laid out to give you the idea where the walls were. I was like, okay, like that works. You did for Ironbound? Well, yeah, but I wasn't in that one. Wonder if anyone has done a game where you can pull random face down. I just did rolling dice. Well, Dave didn't have a battle map for nuts. I know that. Or mass paws. He had a mat, but it was just a grid. Did anyone take notes? Yes, lots of people took notes, including me. Handful of dice, and you choose where to use better dice and where to use worse ones. I think I've sent you the wild terrain setups, my little I don't think so. I've seen there was a big terrain thing another YouTuber sent you for your, I think it was the river crossing one. I've seen that, but no, not your local groups. I haven't seen anything for that. So anyway, Twice Dead, what I was going to say a minute ago. This con, it was in the church Wes preaches at, DM Tales. He's in the chat. And they did an auction to raise money where the church gets a little bit, but most of it went to some other charity. So people donated a bunch of books. Exalted Funeral, that ttrpg store, they donated a pretty decent amount of stuff to auction off. And I don't know where it came from, but there was a huge Dolmenwood box set. And it was still in the shrink wrap. And I think it came with some other stuff too, like some minis or something. Wes, if you remember, let me know. I want to say there was like 4 or 5 books in that box set, some minis, and maybe something else. And I was helping get the auction set up, and I saw that, and I was like, oh man, like I might have to bid on that and get it and send it to Twice Dead. But then I was like, he probably has all of these already, so I didn't. And at the time the auction was, I wouldn't have been able to get a hold of you with the time zone difference, so I didn't even ask. But thought about it. I did think about it. It was a nice little bundle. Let's see. Saying what your friend did an actual CLC game. I have not seen that. Having clings for clutter. Slings? Clutter are really nice too for in-person, I think, other than the vision thing. In-person maps are more dynamic. Yeah, so I need to play on an actual map now, in person. That was Land of Eam in the box. The Dolmenwood set was all books loose with minis and maps. Exalted Funeral. I thought there was a Dolmenwood box set too. That was still wrapped up. There was the Land of Eam one. But either way, there was a Dolmenwood bundle. But I just don't remember what all it came with. Retiring? Oh, you can't do that. That's illegal. But anyway, all that to say, like, I don't feel like one experience is far superior to the other. It's like, I'll do either one. Whatever's available. But I will say, one thing that made these games more enjoyable in person was that they were like 5 minutes from my hotel. And they were back to back to back, so it's not like once a week I had to drive an hour out to go meet up with some friends and then play for a few hours and then drive an hour back. So that helped immensely. Retire means to tire again. Oh, Peter, send me stuff. Random assort. Oh my goodness. I always got some boats. All right, we're gonna put these on here. Bunch of my friends pour money. And we got the physical things because he put more than half the money. The rest got the PDFs. Well, that works. So what you're saying is I should have got it and sent it to you. So there's one set up from Peter's local group. Community is a huge selling point for online play. Yeah. It really is. Yeah, no, that hotel was really nice for, I thought it was just going to be, you know, your average affordable one, but my room was really nice. Gotta go early. I have a very important thing tomorrow. If all goes well, I will have a job. Ooh, well, good luck, Blaze. I started working on your adventure this morning. But hopefully it goes well for you. Did you 3D print the dock? Well, that's pretty dope. Well, I did think about it. Twice did. All the terrain is owned by the host for our group. I think it was from the set you painted. I'll say that doesn't look with these little pieces in there. That makes me think that wasn't 3D printed the way that goes together. But I could be wrong. Like the little shark dudes. Those are neat. Let's see. You had another one I wanted to post. Yeah. So we had a boat thing kind of like this going on with Mustache's game, but he had these big, well, not big there, I guess they're about the same size, 3D boats that he 3D printed. And he had like, it was cool how he did it. So he had the boat, which is in multiple pieces, so you could get to the different layers and decks of it. But he used not a cheaper filament, but I forgot how he did it. He used some blue ink for his 3D printer or whatever to make waves as the base for the boat. So it's like splashing up around it. It was pretty neat. I say cheaper, or that's what comes to mind, because it makes me think, the way it was printed, it makes me think of the cheaper 3D printers that have that kind of translucent stuff they use, and it looks more spaced apart because it's not as fine and detailed. But you should have loved my character. Mine, the tactician, who is totally not stoned. It was a fun character though. Okay, that lets me tangent into something else me and Mustache were talking about on the way home. Oh, he sent me more pictures. This is one of my running session of TFE at a convention. It's a train. Is that a train in a swamp? Peter? Or just another train that got itself wrecked. These are some pretty cool pictures though. Oh, okay. I didn't do much with my character in that second game because I think you were there when I was talking about it. I was like, yeah, I didn't know if I could do the whole stoner thing in front of the child at the table, so I just let that part ride. I think you were there for that conversation, but yeah. So I had an Open Legend D6. I had this character. That's the Quick Start Adventure. Last Train to Nowhere. Okay. See you, Crab. We'll play some more Words of Power at some point. I'm still waiting on my next newsletter from you. But anyway, this character I played, it was a pre-generated character, and he was supposed to be a tactician. So the whole thing was like, I buffed my allies. I could give them more dice for different things. And the idea was I was shouting at them. But my flaw, or whatever they're called in that game, was I was addicted to local herbs. So I was like, okay. So what I ended up rolling with was whenever we weren't in combat, I was baked. I was just totally useless. But then when combat time happened, like something snapped, and I went full captain military mode and just assumed that I was the captain of that current situation, despite us being on a boat that already had a captain. So it was super fun. Good times. But I didn't really lean into the I'm baked part whenever in the second game when Kiddo was there, because I didn't know if it was appropriate or not. So We just kind of left that part out. But I was still shouting at everybody, motivating them. Drunken master, yeah, something like that. And then somebody had to talk to our lady captain, and I was in the other room cheering him on. Yeah, bob and weave. Wait, no, bob and weave, talk to her. So it was fun though. Open Legend D6 is it's an interesting beast, because I would consider Open Legend D6 crunchy, not like super crunchy, but it's definitely more an easy D6. But your rolling is simple, because you're making a dice pool of D6s and picking the highest, or if they explode, then you start adding dice together. But like the things you have to track and do, as well as this really neat initiative system he's got, it starts getting crunchy. So it's pretty fun. And what that was gonna tangent into here is, on the way home, me and Mustache were talking about it. We really want to start doing some shots on the channel. We're going to do one of Open Legend D6, hopefully, and then one of Nuts. We were already cooking up a couple ideas, and the idea is just like plan an adventure that you play like we do a stream 2 hours at a time, 2 hours, but aim for like 2 sessions at least, and then let it, if it breathes and expands into 3 or 4 or 5 sessions, it's okay, because we've planned for that. So you shoot for 2 to 3 sessions and then let it go where it wants to. So there's none of this gotta get done in 2 hours. So, and there's been a couple times in the past where we've tested a game or played it. It happened with World Shapers over on Avenue Studios. That was one of them, where we were playing and we were having a good time, but we weren't moving very far. So we're like, well, let's just do another one. Let's just continue this and do it 2 days, So Dan Aldo is a 79 stoner, local wargamer. So that's what we're gonna try and start doing in the future. Won't replace anything. We'll still do our one shots for testing new things, but things that we enjoyed playing or just want to play more of, like Nuts and Open Legend, or if something needs testing for more than one session at a time, it'll be a fun little thing to do. So, and it should be a lot easier to get a group that can meet up at a consistent time for 3 to 5 weeks, right? So, versus a known amount of time of many months for a campaign. Run to pick people up. Thanks for coming, Scrat. Yeah, man. I had a good time. Even though y'all's food up there is terrible, I had a good time. It's a problem. See, I live in the South. Not only do I live in the South, I live in a particular area, Memphis, where cooking is very important. So everybody knows how to cook real good. Well, a lot of people know. There's food is serious business out here. So whenever I leave this place to go travel somewhere else, food's usually a downgrade, unless I go farther down south, like to New Orleans or something. They got some good food out there, man. That, or I'm just, got so much liquor in me, it all tastes good. You would think, wouldn't you, that it's easier to get people? Well, I would think so. Speaking of, I did meet some folks at the convention, and I'm going to reach out to them, see if they're interested in joining things like that and being on stream. I think they will be. I keep forgetting her name. Carrie was one of them. I'm going to reach out to her and see if she'd be interested, but I got a feeling she's probably going to be pretty busy and unable to do much of that, but she probably would love to do it. Hey, there's the Holy Bro. My favorite masked paws artist. Yeah. Also, funny enough, so when we were playing Nuts, I got to talking to the Carrie lady that I just mentioned at the end of it, and she's like, do you have a character sheet? Because I want to play some more of this. And I was like, not really. I got something I cooked up in PowerPoint. So I just pulled out my phone, took the slide from PowerPoint and put it in the shared folder on Google Drive with where Nuts is. And that was like 2 days ago, maybe 3. And this morning I got an email from somebody. It was like, hey man, really love what you're doing with the channel. Wanted to help you out. Saw you had a character sheet in this folder. So I turned it into it wasn't even a PDF because I just dropped the PowerPoint in there. He's like, I turned it into a PDF and made it fillable, and he did all this stuff for it. I was like, oh, wow, thanks, man. I just put that in there. And I didn't even tell anybody, so it was good timing. Actually looking into doing art booths at cons next year. Don't know what I'm going to sell, but we will see. Yeah, man. Should definitely come out to EcclesiaCon. Oh, man, I got a major crick in my neck. Oh yeah. The Badger. He even worked his way into the trailer we made, so that was neat. Villains. So Dave, are we allowed? Because it's not technically official or in writing yet. Are we allowed to mention the recent change in development to the Masked Paws staff, we shall say? Old shit. I didn't get to talk to any of those guys any. I was too busy playing games. You're okay with? Alright. Apparently I'm going to be writing Masked Paws. There you go. There's your big reveal. Gonna make it readable. He's already got most of it done, so it's basically what I'm doing for Blaze. Just going through and giving it a tone of some kind. You are the least vague person. Co-writing, there's the word. Yeah. I am co-writer. That way Dave can focus more on mechanics in his Kickstarter. And layout. No, not an editor. Not an editor by any means. It's still gonna need that. So Dave is coming up with his lore and his world and his rules. I'm putting it on the page for him where it makes sense. You are ttrpg, right? I mean, I'm working my way into it, it would seem. Yep. So that's what I'll be doing. And, if I see things like, hey, it might make more sense if we name it something, this place this, or, you need to expand on this area over here, that kind of thing. So. And then he might fire me. I might poke him too much about those things. He'd be like, stop making me work. I brought you on to take work away from me. So that'll be another project I gotta work on. That's what I needed. And I mentioned last stream about editors for ttrpg stuff, so maybe Masked Paws will be a first for that. Legbound first. Yep, well, that's your baby, not mine, so. Unless you want to, work something out. Getting Scrat to make a mystery for my game would be so cool. You need a mystery? I don't know if I'm very good at mysteries. As we just saw. You gotta learn somehow though, right? Gotta learn somehow. Let me I'm trying to think. So streamlined superheroes. I believe he said, and we're definitely going to play this one on the stream. We're going to streamlined superheroes. I can't type. I'm pretty sure. Streamlined. Oh, there it is. It's your little $5 game. As you can see, I do not own it. Oh, that's right. I'm on crop money. Alright. I gotta figure out a better way to do that. Well, it is on DriveThru if you want to go check it out. I'm not like a superhero fan. I wouldn't say I'm a superhero hater either, despite how much I love bashing on Marvel. I think the problem is I'm just kind of wore out on them, whether or not you've been watching Marvels. There's just so much superhero stuff lately, like for what, the past 10 years it feels like. Like, it's just gotten to be so much. But they're fun. It's just not something I like go out of my way for to get. But the game itself was super duper cool, and you could very easily drop it in whatever you wanted. Like, it does not have to be superheroes. That is how it's presented in the manual, but you could very easily do it wherever. So we're gonna have him come on channel, play us a game, because that will be very fun. We played when he ran us a game. We were the 70s Justice League. So Mustache was having a time with his Robin one-liners or whatever, you know, Holy Rusted Bolts Batman and all that good stuff. So. You did the layout in the manual too? I always thought you just did like the character sheet. You need to write mysteries in a Brandlewood Bay way. Don't have enough mechanics yet. Dark Mecha is a bit off from writing exercises. But what did you ping me in the other day? The Immortals Rising game? We can start getting into that. Both. You did both. Oh, okay. QuizCon has me pumped up. I've gone back to writing my Shadow Dark one shot. Woo. Is it like a little trifold thing, or? I wish I could get back into doing stock art, but DriveThruRPG has worst interface, and I'd rather peel my skin off. That bad, huh? I was just talking to Zadmar this morning about stock art, and that's that thing I sent you, Lynn. That's where it came from, was that conversation. He really likes collecting stock art and using it, or you know, using stock art for all his stuff, and he just kind of collects it as he goes. But he would like to have his own artist, but he just can't justify it for the stuff he makes, because the stuff he makes is super duper cheap. Like, he charges 50 cents for his one-page adventures. So the stock art is way more sensible. But yeah, I didn't know DriveThru had a bad interface for that. Well, hey, you know, that's another platform you can make, Lynn, on top of your other thing. Is a good stock art distributor station thing. And I never really considered using stock art that much in that way, at least. Uh-oh. Why'd my music die? I'm still alive, aren't I? But anyway, I hadn't considered that, using it like that much, until I saw TriCube, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess that'd be a great way. I didn't know they like made, when I think of stock art, I think like really cheesy stock images you use for corporate junk. But I was like, okay, yeah, I guess, you know, the little stock art characters and stuff you can use, that makes sense. So, and I've seen, I forget his name, but the guy who Zadmar uses in TriCube Tales, that artist, I've seen his stuff Not frequently, but a handful of times doing this TTRPG thing across TTRPG books. There it goes. I don't know why the music hiccuped. No buffering? Well, that's good. Alright, no, that's just the video I was playing. Is stream buffering? Ironbound uses a lot of stock art? It do. The Smithsonian has a bunch of historical art anyone can use. It's such a blessing. Yup, yup. Having issues with that too. Ideally, in a perfect world, I'd like to be an established artist for a studio, but we are all broke. Freelancing is the only thing people go for currently. Yeah. It's rough out there. So anyway, streamline superheroes. Like, it's so easy. You get... I ain't gonna write it down. You have like 4 stats. One's 10, one's 9, one's 8, one's 7. And then you have 4 things you're good at. And it starts at a D12. You know, like the best thing you're good at, the thing you're best at is a D12. Under that's a D10. Under that's a D8. And under that's a D6, I believe. And those are what you call your effect dice. So whenever you want to do something, you roll a D20, and you're trying to roll under the stat. So like if your strength is 10, you want to roll under 10. So 10 would be a worse stat than 7. So, oh, I'm sorry, 10 would be better than you rolled under. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. So you try and roll under your stat, and then if you pass, you roll your effect die to see how well you do it. So the things you're better at get a better effect die. And I don't know how he calculates damage on his side, but us characters had full-fledged HP. Like I had 40 hit points for 20. I had 20 hit points as the Green Lantern. And I might have died. I got knocked out. I wasn't dead. I had a rough time. At one part. This was some really unfortunate rolls. But it's fun. It's super easy. You can just start playing super easy. Like it's way easier to start that game than Nuts. Not that I ever had to claim that like Nuts was the easiest thing in the world, but I feel like Nuts is pretty simple, but that one was like, I don't know. It's something bad. It's like you can just jump in and start playing super quick with minimal explanation. Now, if you've never played TTRPGs, you know, it'd take a little more explaining. It's like, oh, what? I can just roll and do whatever? What? But yeah, it's super cool. Start your own studio. Yeah. I gotta sneeze. All character NPC and heroes use the same account. Do they? Oh, okay. Alright, so they got their own HP pools. Because I was watching him, and it looked like he was just marking hits or something instead of tracking HP or something, but he just might have had a different way of doing it. So he was making tick marks in a book as you hit all that. Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. It didn't look like he was tracking HP unless he was like... Because your effect die is just like how good you are at something. It wasn't so much you do this much damage. So I don't know how he would do the HP thing. I feel like once you get to being a studio, you inevitably end up with a house system. Yeah. Yeah, see, well, the problem, if you become Dave's TTRPG studio, right, and you have people that you employ, you run into the same problem YouTube has when you're a content creator. You have to keep producing something if you want to pay the bills. So if Dave is Mr. Mechanics, and then he hires me as Mr. Writer, and he hires Lynn as Miss Artist, he's got to put food on our table. Like he's responsible for that. So, and in order to put food on our table, he has to pay us money. And in order to pay us money, he has to have something to sell. So that leads to just making games whether you want to or not. And you have, it's not just, hey, let's make this thing that we're all interested in and, you know, polish it and make it a work of art. It's like, no, let's make this thing and get it done so we can get paid because I'm hungry. So you can still make good quality stuff. Like, it's not automatically downhill and in the dumpster, but like, it does lead to the production of a lot of things you probably wouldn't have otherwise made. So, and sometimes those end up being really good things, but a lot don't. So that's why I guess it was just the last stream and I was talking about, that's why you just have a web of connections that you can work with. So like, I know Lynn, I know Dave knows me. Like, when he's working on a project, he can reach out to me like, hey, you want to make a little extra cash, write this thing up? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then you reach out to Lynn, hey, you want to make a little extra cash, need some art? Webs are cool. Webs of connections are cool. And technically, see, everybody could live that way and make a very decent living. So like, if Lynn was connected to all these different TTRPG designers, she would have a lot of work coming in. It wouldn't have to be one person having to produce a lot of stuff. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, you could have 10 other Daves in the world working on their one project, and she's making art for all of them. Now she's got a full-time job, and it's not one person's responsibility. So, I'm saying, like, the gig economy could be really good, but it's not right now. I feel like the simpler the game is, the more you have to kind of be loose with gameplay to guide the game. Yeah. He was using the effect dice for damage. Is that how that works? Well. You hire everyone as independent contractors project by project. Top of it, it has to sell well, the most important and least controllable. Yeah. The fun part of turning a thing you like to do into a job. Yep. Nope, I can't get my lid off. Bruh, that's on there. Why aren't you breaking off? I just want some water. Come on now. Oh, I'm gonna make a mess. This thing is not letting go of my cap. A gig conglomerate? Maybe. I often consider being a sellout and altering my art style to that semi-realism whenever I want so bad. Did they really? Yo, Scrat. What's up, man? I have seen your message, Cyros. I've seen it. And I think it leads to some very interesting conversation, which might be a fun stream down the road. I'm not ignoring you, though. I like to... Some responses require more thought. But I do seriously think that opens up some really good questions to ask the world and discuss. Let's see. The Holy Bro, you won't ever have two for my books. You like your style. Yeah, man. Lynn has a very fun style. I don't know who said it, but the fetishization of realism has hurt art more than anything else. Yeah, I've even when I was a youngin'. Oh, well, the whole thing came off now. I never really understood the idea or desire to draw, paint something to look as real as possible. It's like, well, if I want that, let's take a picture. You know, I don't know, maybe it comes from before cameras, but yeah, I like it when things have a style to them, whether it's super exaggerated or, you know. The Clone Wars show had a really fun style. Everything had like a lot of straight edges on faces and stuff like that. I really like that. When things have, they're real in the sense, mostly, I guess, of proportions or something like that. The way, I don't know, but like they still have their distinct look. I like that. I am also very busy. Yes, well, there is that. I'm playing catch up still since I got back yesterday, right about noon, I think. So, I'm still very tired and drugged up from medicine, so I didn't get sick on the trip. But not as much as intellectual theft. That's a good point too. I really need to find someone who does a stylized pulp and NECA. That's gonna be fun. Applied to mini art James for little game places, and they're like, nah, we want realism. Joke's on you, you can do that. You just choose not to. Changed my style to that comic style in 2017 because it's more marketable. Now, not so much. Well, that sucks. Should I get rid of death saving throws in Plaguebound? No. Why would you do that? Because that's part of Ironbound, and Plaguebound is the Ironbound system, right? So, feels weird taking that out. Plus, you have the corruption stuff you get, unless you've changed that wildly. Unless you just want Ironbound system to be super edgy and deadly and all that good stuff. Also, you guys, and I was telling Twice did this right before we got started, I realized when I was setting up the stream that we still got Unga Bunga knocked out in the middle of the woods somewhere we gotta go save. So, we might do that in a minute. It is kind of what is selling right now. What? No death throws? Or no death saves, whatever. No death saving throws. Oh, man. I can buy some viewers. That's cool. Suspicious user. Banned. Oh, I accidentally closed my Twitch chat. I thought I was closing the menu. Oops. Let me go back and get that. I have a Twitch tab open somewhere. Here it is. How do we pop it back out? Pop out. There we go. Plop out. Work has a fire. Bye. Uh-oh, is it the one you started? I'm just kidding. I know who said this one. The realism is a tool, not a goal. Chiqueros in the Peters server. Hey, I know that guy. He's the little round metal ball. Also, we have a guest. He's your little squirrel. There he goes. And there he went. Death saves can lock the player into limbo, unable to play, but not ready to make a new PC. Yeah. I guess it depends on how they work, but like... I am in favor of them in Ironbound / Plaguebound specifically because you don't have much health in that game and you go down fairly easily. So it's like nice to be able to pop back up. But yeah, it does. It's kind of like being stunned or paralyzed or whatever and missing your turn. It's like, well, that's not very fair or fun. And Outgunned, Glee, when she was down and doing her death saves, she was still able to do actions, right? Like she could still shoot and everything, and she just had to do the death save, and if that failed, then it was it. Like, or did you only do the death save? I guess I could pull up the book and look. Depending on what your design goals are, my personal philosophy is that it shouldn't leave a player without anything to do. Yeah, that's the thing. Just flat across the board, like, oh, death save should whatever. Like, yeah, that's not helpful. It's all contextual, right? Relative. Let's see. Trope, feats, rolling the dice. Death roulette. Oh, you can't see it. Because, there we go. Next to your conditions, when you're about to be left for dead, the director will let you take a spin on the death roulette, and the single die will decide whether you survive or you finally rolled your last. Yeah, when the director asks you to take a spin, roll and matter. If the result is greater, you have a narrow escape. Okay. Then you add the bullet. So it gets harder and harder and harder each time. Okay, yeah. So you do your death save first, and then if you pass, you keep shooting. But then the next time you have to do that, it will be harder. So that's more fun, because then you're not just like, oh, I'm bleeding out. I did a death save, but I'm still here on the ground bleeding out. Bleed. So and if you don't make the roll, then you dead. So that's fun. Outgunned is just a very fun game. When my players die, I let them pilot one of the enemies. Ooh, once we got Elizabeth fighting the rest of the table, she fired. Really cool way if you decide to leave death with a bleed out mechanic. Yep. I like what Peter did with Tales from Elsewhere. When you die, you have options of how you can go out. I think that was Tales from Elsewhere. Like you have, I think there was a blaze of glory option, where you just go out, but then you can like give Peter, if you're here, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you can pass on some of your equipment to another player, but it's like it's boosted. So if I was the gunslinger, somebody could get my revolver, which was normal to me, but I was just good at using revolvers. They would get some kind of bonus to that specific revolver because it was mine, and I am giving them a boost in my death. So that's super cool. And I want to say there was a third option too, but I don't remember what it was. Updating the rules right now. You agree? But what do you agree with? That all death saves are bad, or some of them can be good? Or it could be like, whatchamacallit, outgunned. So if you update them in Plaguebound, what's that mean for Ironbound? Or is that going to go into Ironbound version 2? Y'all, my neck hurts. Or not my neck, it's like right here. I feel it when I turn my neck. It's like, see if I can draw it. So this is the back of my head. Yeah, I have super swole broad shoulders like this. This is my back. It's like... oh, right here. When I turn just right, you can feel that in there. It hurts. It feels like it could just pop it real good. Blaze of Glory, Unfinished Business, and Legacy of Blood. Yeah! Twice Dead Nose. Alright. Oh, it's going too fast. There we go. We'll put it on the big screen. Roll a d12 on a D or on a 10 plus. You regain health dice, which can be spread among the pools and health. You still get your full turn. On a failure, you get your turn minus 1 action point and receive a mark of doom. That's right, because you have action points. So you could just like sit there and attack or move, but you could not do both, right? Isn't that how it works? Catching the plague? No, I didn't. No con crud yet, but I hope not anyway. I think it's just my bed. Need a new one. Made a pair of roll tables with boons and banes. You took one of each when you suffered critical damage. Never got to play much with it. You struggling there, DM Tails? Dave, you should make an office life parody RPGs and go work bound. Become a ghost. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Cricking your neck and muscle are good stretches for that. Not pleasant amount. Well, not quite the neck. So that's what I'm saying. It's so if this is my back, or you're looking at the back of me. When I move my neck, I feel it, but it's right here. Actually, can I just find like a human body anatomy? Let's say back muscles. There we go. This is much better than what I drew. So we will say yeah. Oh, you can't. That's red on red. I guess right here. Kind of where I feel it. Yeah, it's like right around the shoulder blade there. I'm so bad at like locating pain on my body. It's like I feel it, but I can't tell you where it is. More like right here. Can I fill that in? There we go. Right there. So is it spine of scapula? Is that what it is? Or no, it's this infraspinatus. Sounds like a transformer. Somewhere in there. Movement is still free? Okay. So losing 1 action point isn't terrible, right? Because you get 3 and it takes 2 to attack. There's a kite-shaped muscle from your neck to your mid-back. It's in there. Dude, I love anatomy and drawing bodies with muscles. Well, you wouldn't have much fun drawing my body then. It's just sticks. You get Bane. Oh, yeah. That's right. Bane on everything's rough. We're trying to figure out, Lynn, what muscle is hurting of mine. Or got a crick in it or something. It's in the blue area. So now that we have located it, how do we fix it? Could be the rhinoids. But basically a neck shoulder issue, probably sleeping with your shoulders to your ear. Maybe. How do we fix it? See, I can feel it when I do this. And then I can really feel it when I do that. But it's not in the neck. It's just pulling that muscle down there. All right. Well, while the doctors are figuring out how to fix me, should we try and save Unga Bunga? Get yourself something warm. Helps with the pain. Like a warm cup of tea. Or like a hot cloth. I know. Let's see. If we're gonna do this, let me turn that off. Get the TriCube Solo. We'll get a card generator this time. We don't need the one-page setting because we know we're gonna go save Unga Bunga, but we can still like roll up some complications on there. Tell you what, we could just do this. No, we couldn't. Never mind. That won't work. So we gotta make another character. Unga... What was Unga? He was an agile tracker with an animal companion who got cramps. He's probably really cramping up right now. We want to make a brawny one? Or a crafty one? I am in favor of brawny. Brownie. Then getting in the shower as hot as I can, stand it and letting the water beat on my neck is like 10 minutes helps. Probably feels good too. Guess your chat messages. I mean, I saw your chat messages. Well, the last one I saw was about the Banes on the Mark of Doom. Stretches only when you are actively applying warmth. Are we having chat troubles? A heating pad? Yeah, if I can get it from Glee. She's always taking the heating pad. No, she's tried to put it on me multiple times and I'm just like, no, I don't want it. Keep it away. I'm a manly man, I don't need no heating pad. There's a weird stretch that actually enlarges your tongue. I've used for similar pain before. You'd be surprised how deeply your tongue and other muscles are tied into your body. Uses your tongue. Okay. Did anything else happen at EcclesiaCon that was... Other than it was just a good experience. Like I said, most people there knew each other, so it was very cozy in that regard. Very welcoming. It's because you're saying hard. I don't think hard is censored. But I'm not even seeing anything on my end, Dave, that's like, this message was auto-moderated. So. A seed-filled pillow. Get that thing in the microwave for 3 minutes. Works wonders. Leaves you smelling like lavender. Certain emojis. Weird, but can't you, or is that YouTube comments? Hang on. Yeah, you can start all your emojis with a colon though. You can do it like Discord. Oh, see you, Sam's. amputation works as well. It's really hard to recover from. Not wrong. It'd be a lot to amputate. Rice or bean sock fresh from a few moments in the microwave does wonders. Get a ball on the wall and roll your back on it. Did you have to go to Twitch? That would actually probably feel really good though. Or job is censored. Hey, job's a bad word, alright? We don't like jobs. Those are awful. Those are the worst. Maybe because people were spamming blowjob? It's possible. It's possible. I mean, you can set your own things to filter and censor. I haven't. It's just whatever stock YouTube is. I haven't touched it. YouTube would not let you type that. Interesting. Beansock. The miracle drug. I'll have a beansock. Here at work watching, chatting, and writing a one-shot instead of working this afternoon. I mean, hey. Do what you gotta do. We decided those companies make too much money anyway. A crew sock with rice. I've used the rice ones before. They get a little smelly when you warm them up. Breaking all the rules. Hey, you know, go big or go home. Break one, break all of them. Java censor League of Legends chat. Can't scare away your customers. There you go. We'll put that one on the thing. I gotta remember that's a feature I can do now. Yeah, if you have a rubber ball, I'd recommend using it on the wall in the shower after you warm the area with the water. Well, I don't think I do. No. I don't even have a tennis ball. Gave them all to the dogs. Wes, are you still in the chat? When are you gonna run Shadow Dark for me? That's on my list. Also, I keep hearing how Cypher System is like this loosey, maybe not loosey, but like very narrative driven thing. I'm just gonna say, at the auction, there was a Cypher System book. That was a very, very large book. It did not instill me with much confidence. It made me flee from the idea of playing Cypher System. But anyhoozle, let's. Well, it's already 2:30. Do we want to go save Unga Bunga, or do we want to save that for next time? A little Tricube solo action. Save Unga Bunga from the woods. Most of that book is how to make a game world. Okay, I was wondering if it was something like that. You know, like ICRPG has a lot of extra stuff in it. Heat up a sock with rice and hold it in place with a heating pad while you take ibuprofen in the shower as the water scalds you. There, keep going. Something will work, right? Partly due to the ridiculous amount of ciphers, slow use magic items. Okay. I feel like it was a big book, and I think there was more than one book, too. Burning Wheel is the narrative TTRPG, and it's pretty thick. Yeah, that's the one GM Ben, big fan of, and I was listening to him and Craig talk about, or he was telling Craig about it, and Craig was like, you know, just learning about it. It seems very complicated. Also, you know, now I'm sitting here thinking about it. I don't know if Blaze was still in the chat when I was talking about it, about doing the sum shots, but I guess we could have a World Shapers sum shot. Could be fun. I am sure he would be stoked to run such a thing. Of course, he's getting a job, so might not have time. Well, health is down to 0. Rolls have a 1 bane. I forgot you wrote this. A little bit of column A and all would be, yeah, man. What you gotta do? What you gotta do? Alright. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, but I will be right back. And in the meantime, y'all decide what we're gonna do with Unga Bunga over there. We don't have to save him. We can do it another day. Because there's other things to yak about. So I will BRB. I'm back. Let's see. Burning wheel can be complicated or simple. The fun part is it can move with only the skeleton. You can add to it as you want. Breaking it. I get to go home in a few minutes, so I may be or not be when you get. Or you may be or not be when you return. I get it. Burning wheel is everyone's favorite game that very little play as like old arena shooters. Massively influential, but not popular. I don't really know anything about it. Ironbound rule sets need updating. Yeah. You love Cypher. Does someone come in and save Unga Bunga? Do you create a second character to save the first one like you used the second one? Save the first one like you used the second. You hate Burning Wheel. So, unrelated. I also have this thing that's supposed to be good for like your muscles and stuff. I acknowledge what it looks like, which is why I try to keep it out of camera view when I'm streaming, but I've never really had much luck with it. Like you're supposed to be able to hook it back here and press down on the spot, but like I can't ever. I just end up bruising myself. I don't actually get a bruise, but it just makes it sore from pressing into it. One time, ooh man, I think I hit the spot. I got it to work really good one time. Like it hit just the right spot, and you could just like feel the whole area going, and it was gone. That's a Klingon weapon. It kind of looks like one. I think I'm on the spot. Yep. That felt good. Maybe that was it. But yeah, that's a weird thing. It's like can't really see it. In the white background. There you can see most of it there if I get out of the way. It's a weird thing. Hold it like this. One of those weird fantasy weapons that makes no sense. But it's cool anyway. Also, hello, Mark. How are you doing? Over there on the purple side. See, then I can't tell. It's like, okay, am I on the spot because that's where it hurts really bad when I'm pressing in? Or is that because I pressed in too hard and made it sore? Ooh, man. You ever have those spots on your back that hurt, and when you press on them with something like this, you feel it in your head? Like, oh, it shouldn't work that way. Reworking your whole fantasy timeline today. Oh, gosh, dude. So I don't know if you know. Writing novels is what I want to do. Try to do. Even though I spend a lot of time in the ttrpg side of the world. But I'm writing a bunch of books that take place in the same universe. And a lot of time passes in that universe. So the second book is currently getting worked on, and it takes place many years after the first one, and I just have no idea what my timeline is doing, and I really need to sit down and figure it out, like as far as because this universe that I'm working on, everything kind of revolves around this weird tech they develop in it. It's a fantasy setting. But the tech is the fun part, I guess. That's what makes it makes it my world, pretty much. Is what makes it unique and interesting. It's what makes that world. It differentiates it from everything else. So I really need to figure out how that technology develops. And I've just been avoiding it for so long. I was like, let me write something over here that's way back here. Now let me write something that's way over here so I don't have to think too hard about it. But no, I really need to sit down and figure that out. I just don't want to. I just want to write the story. Not worry about those silly little details. Oh, Bayless is one of the only fantasy weapons that makes... Or bad. I said that wrong. Sometimes I feel like someone is sticking needles on me. There has to be a way to play with a voodoo doll. Might be. Got an app called Aeon Timeline for that. It's cool. Yeah. Making a timeline is one of those things I get lost in trying to find the right tool for it, and then not finding the right tool for it, and then trying to make my own, and then never getting any work done. Ooh, man, there's a spot right there. Oh god, that hurts. Aeon Timeline. History fades to story, story to legend, and legend to myth, and myth is easily forgotten when it shouldn't. I had to rethink some stuff. This war broke out before this one instead, and this saint arose to godhood over here instead, and this dragon made his fighting mission. Yeah. Say the little details are your favorite. Yeah, no, they're cool. It's just to say this is the thing, right? So I'm gonna put the turtle back on the screen because he's cool. How do I say this? World building for a single story is a lot easier. You have a lot more fun with it, I feel like, because you can do all these little silly things, and you can explore them as the developer of that world, and it's like, oh, here's all this cool stuff, and then just use what you need in that story. When you're good tunes. When you're making a world that several stories take place in across multiple thousands of years, world building becomes a real chore. It gets to hard mode very fast. If you want things to be consistent and believable as they can be in a fantasy world across multiple books and stories. Like it gets painful. It's funny looking at the early creation of the universe parts where the most simplest of things are assumed to have taken several millennia, and then in the current era there's notes for every few years. Yeah. The story has always been a vehicle to convey history, world building, and what writing I've done before. World building's fun. That's a lot of fun. I think that's one thing I enjoy about TTRPGs so much, as far as, you know, making them and working on them, or making campaigns that are in one. It's like you get to do all the fun, almost all the, well, I would say, yeah, all the fun parts of world building and none of the actual work. Like, you just get to do the fun stuff because you leave so much up for the players and other tables to figure out. Like, whereas in the novels and the series and stuff, you actually have to take into consideration, like, okay, how long does it take to populate an area? Is there these actual livable conditions? You know, these kind of things. Like, it all has to add up. And like I said, when you're doing it across multiple books and lots of time, like you have to do the math, I guess you could say, and make sure it all adds up and stacks well together. You don't need world building scrat, you just destroy the world. There you go. I like that. Just destroy the world and have a lot. He's so salty. Oh, hey man. 12 more days we'll get to talk about that. And I look forward to it. Just destroy the world. So it won't be in the epilogue, but I am going to annihilate an entire race of people in this series. At least once. It's pretty different writing world building for TTRPG setting than an actual novel. I find the former way easier, yeah. But it's like in TTRPGs, you leave a lot open for interpretation. You don't have to. I should clarify that. You can fully define your world and set very hard rules, rigid limits and stuff. That was a sentence. But when I'm making them, I like to leave, like in Moss and Stone, like, that's a good example. In Moss and Stone, I'm not specifying whether or not there's people in that world, and like there is some kind of apocalypse or humans are still living and doing the thing and the animals are just weird. It's like, that's totally up to you. Like, I had to clarify to Bova, the guy doing the art, it's like, don't put any human stuff on the animals, like buttons as shields, shirt buttons as shields or something. Like, that's up to the table to determine. If they want to have that, they can. If they don't want to, they don't have to. Congratulations with a question mark. I mean, so I can spoil it now because it's going to be many years probably before I write that book. It's later. It's way later in the series. I had my deities in that world are called arbiters, and there's like an arbiter of the Eshians, which are like elves, and the arbiters of these other people, and the arbiters of, like, when that arbiter dies, all their people die. And one of those arbiters goes rogue, for lack of better words, and is thrown out of the heavens, but not killed, because like they have to let that person live, and she roams the world for a long, long time, and like gets all of her Eshians that she can convince to follow her and try and take over the world and all that stuff. And somebody ends up killing her at the cost of all the Eshians dying. And of course, that character gets very, very close to an Eshian during that story, because that is how I am. The ox cart paradox. Recently found out about that. Do I know what that one is? There are only 3 so far. Oh man, I am like, it is so sore back there. Like, I'm barely pushing on it with this thing, but Golly. Only 3 so far of what, Dave? Did I say something and I already forgot what it was? To clip out of context. I thought about that, Mark, as I was saying it. I was like, this is gonna probably not something I should say on stream, but I did. Reverse of what you normally see in D&D, or Kratos rules. I'm so confused. I could just go look it up, but then I'd have to put this thing down and stop digging into my bag. Alright, let's go see what it is. Species, there are only 3. Oh, and Kesha in my stuff? Because I'm trying to think what's the third. I think you've only Eshens and humans have been revealed. Well, no, there's mentions of other ones, but you've only seen humans and Eshens, so. There are more. There's gonna be some watery boys, some forest boys, and of course girls too. And then, yeah, so this, dang it, I wish, well, I had a CleezyCon to talk about. So this is actually something I've been trying to semi-dig into lately. And we've talked about it before, I'm just calling them Beastkin right now. It's just kind of like a placeholder, and if it ends up staying, it stays. Yeah, they twice did. That's just what I was getting into. So I've been perusing Pinterest, trying to find, because I wanted them to be not visually appealing, you know, not the furry thing like, oh, that's a hot cat lady. It's like, no, this is a beast. This is terrifying. This is something an arbiter made that they weren't supposed to. They were doing things they shouldn't. And that the reason they made these things is because they were wanting soldiers. So I was like, well, I did find some cool pictures. But I was like, what if they took parts of different animals and like punch myself in the face, fuse them together to make a new species that was like their ideal soldier. So like something that has gills so they can breathe underwater, but really tough, like armadillo armor or something, and for battle, and tiger claws and things like that. Just, it would be unrecognizable. That was just completely made for fighting. So I was like, that might be what they are. But I did like the idea of, you know, beastly things walking around. That way I could have a turtle. Let's see if I can find some of these pictures. How to navigate Pinterest. Your boards. Beastkin. So, going back to the idea of them just being a single type of animal, but not pleasant looking, that idea was something like these guys. So something like that. I got a couple. There was one more. Where'd he go? Of course, can I fit all these guys on the screen? I thought I had like another one. Yeah. Well, anyway, so these, you get the idea. Like, they kind of got the humanoid form, but they're mostly the animal they came from. But like, imagine that, you know, 6, 7, maybe even 8 feet tall, running around on the battlefield. Like, it just shoot, like, you should probably even make all the little armor scale things sharp, So it would just shred you, right? And animals are, I don't know if you know this, really strong. So they have all that extra muscle. Just tear through you. And then you could have weird other things like this chameleon thing going on over here. But like, think of this guy. He's like a gator or something, right? And he's got all that gator strength. And you can see the heads here. So he's not small. Imagine all the muscle a gator has, or a tiger, wielding something like this and swinging it. Like, it doesn't matter what you had for armor. He would just bowl over each. Not to mention the speed that comes with it too. So like, that's terrifying. The ox cart paradox is 3 days. It's basically how far can you carry a cart of wheat with an ox. Oh, after 3 days, the ox has eaten more of the cart than it will bring to the market. Oh, I like that. I have to remember that. Put it on chat. Put it on the screen. Chimera Ant Arc, let's go. Kratos rules I was joking about is deity dying cause cataclysmic effects on the world. Instead of God taking the reins of something existing, they are tied to the essence of something. Pretty alien, something out there wants to... Yeah, always is, isn't there? Scary part is always the question, why do they have defensive spikes and scales? Lizardmen from Warhammer Fantasy, apply club to the face. Why do they have defensive spikes and scales? Well, why wouldn't they? I don't know why that's a scary question. I feel like I must be missing something, Wisp. Also, I feel like we've looped this. Let's go back to this one. But that's like the animal idea, right? And then I started having... There's always a bigger fish. Oh, I see what you're saying now. I get, yeah. Why would they have it? Okay. Well, these are like genetically altered, so. But anyway, here's like a... I just like this picture. This is hippo just grabbing crocs and kill them. But like, you get the idea. Like, okay, that's just this walking behemoth of muscle that would be terrifying and, again, not exactly visually appealing. But then I started thinking, it's like, well, this is the in-between. You know, the animal and then making something entirely new. This is just animal parts mixed together, right? There's a gorilla with wings. Nothing about that would work, but I thought it was a pretty cool picture and a scary concept. But I got... Let's put some of these on the board over here. Because spikes are a pretty thing. I figured it out. I think there might be some delay here, but yeah, I was picking up what he's putting it down. In this case, the spikes would be just defense from hordes of humans trying to kill them, I guess. But see, like, here's something that's just doesn't make sense to me. Like some kind of weird, completely conjured up, took bits and pieces from various animals, and when I say bits and pieces of various animals, I don't mean like, oh, gorilla arms, rhinoceros horn, fish fin, you know, it's just like the concept of different things and trying to design what this arbiter thought was the perfect soldier. Using things they had access to. So I don't know. That was... And there's just some cool pictures, you know? I thought I had a different one. I don't. Oh, shucks. There's this weird thing, but I don't know if I can post that on a stream. It might not be safe. Let's see. Music got a little loud. Defense skin tends to be on prey species in our world. I made up the idea in my D&D worlds that Terresks were originally made regenerative to feed the world. Ooh, that's why they have spikes. Yeah, Cashew and I Legends. Yep. Do they regenerate like oxalotls? I don't know if that was for me or for Wisp, but that would be neat. That would be very scary if they could just grow limbs back. So you're wanting to avoid simply exotic humans. Yeah, so I don't really have an end goal yet for the Beastkin, but the thing I don't want is Khajiits from Elder Scrolls, Tabaxis from D&D. I want something a little more creative than that, other than animal with human body, right? Now, if this arbiter person is just making soldiers, the problem is, like, you know, you got to think this deity, divine being is making life and designing a body. But if it's just made for fighting, she's probably not going to give them reproductive bits, which means how does this species survive once she's done with them? Like, do they just cease to be? They all die out? And I had thought about that. It's like there was one race I was working on. It's like, oh, it would be interesting. Like if they all knew they were the last. They're like, yeah, when one of us dies, it's a really big deal because there will be no more. But I did think of some, trying to work on some reasons why they would still be able to continue to populate or repopulate. But that's a weird conversation to have. But it is unfortunately something I have to think about, and I think I have some creative solutions. Humanoid animals are just boring. Yeah, well, it's just like, why? You know? It's nothing really against them. Like, I love playing Argonians and Elder Scrolls. Lots of people like being the Khajiits. It's like, it's a fun option for games and stuff, but it's like, it is a why do they exist kind of thing. And since they're animal based, it's like there's so many other cool things you could do. Like, why you're kind of limiting yourself if you just want to be fuzzy human. But there would be some advantages to making something like these. Well, everything on the screen here, right? Because then you could have a more uniform species, right? Versus, which would be easier to control as far as your storytelling, world building goes. Versus if you just had all these weird mixtures of animals, it's like, all right, that's going to get a little crazy. But it could lead to fun factions. It's like, oh, all the hippo things went over here, all the turtle things went over here, you know, the gators and the pangolins don't really like each other. They are made to build war machines. Maybe they're searching to me artificial bodies, clone their minds, transmute base elements of the world, or sculpt new bodies. I did think about that. Like they use the Keshanite to willingly, they have to give up something of themselves in order to make a new one. The easiest example there would be like, oh no, these two have to come together and they decide to give themselves up completely in order to make a new life. That is a part of both of them. But then I was like, well, 2 for 1 isn't exactly a good return, so that population wouldn't last too long. So they have to give up some kind of piece of them in some capacity. And that was just a thought I had like a day or two ago. So Thrycreen. I don't know what Thrycreen is. I will go look it up. Thrycreen. Oh, is that what that's from? I've seen that bug dude before. I actually used him as a token, in my first campaign. I had no idea that was actually a D&D thing. No idea. But I recognize that picture. The Thrycreen were an insectoid, monstrous humanoid race that primarily lived in the Shaw. Nomads and hunters. They're also known as mantis warriors. Dark sun mantis people. Yeah. So bugs would be cool. Resembled a giant praying mantis. They don't like talking about Dark Sun much? Oh. It have some controversial material? High strength and great agility. So anyway, I don't know if I'd have bug things. I mean, I really like the idea of it because they're cool, but it's like, would it fit in the world? But I was also, and we might have talked about it on a stream, I was considering the beastkin not being able to communicate. Like, since they're just animals, it's like they just have their growls and hisses, they would be able to hold a conversation with you. But now that I say that, these were made to be soldiers, so she would need them to be able to communicate, I guess, and report back to her. And I also thought about if we lean into this thing, where we have like, yep, these are the beastkin, this is what they look like. She could have different types. Like she could have, okay, these are my water soldiers, these are my jungle soldiers, these, you know, she made different types for different things, you know, the scouts, so some of them might have wings. Being the litmus test on how not human a species would be. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't... Like I said, if they don't look human at all, that's fine. That's fine. Like, they could be like this guy right here. Or something over here. Gotta get it squared away, though, because Glee... I started writing a story that follows a beastkin, and it's about them. And she really liked it. She wants me to write that one next. I don't know if it will be next, but it might be a fun one to do next. I just hand wave it as there being so much diversity, especially with beast folk that come in all shapes and sizes, to the point that people don't even think twice about all sorts of species mingling in any size. Yeah. That's a good way to do it. Man, let me flip this thing around to the other side. So there's lots, and technically I've also considered, it's like, okay, there could be, you could do both, right? You could have on screen like these types, like maybe that's where she started and found out they were not the best, a little uncontrollable, or maybe they couldn't do magic stuff, and that's what she was really looking forward to. And then as she got better at it, she developed more sophisticated. And see, there's a reason why they might be humanoid in this world, is because the humans were originally made to do more. But after the whole Holy War and everything took place, all that plan kind of fell apart. But the humans actually don't have any magic in this world, but they're the ones that are capable of getting more out of the Keshanite than anybody else can. Because the idea was that the Keshanite was originally made for them, because the humans were supposed to not rule the world, but they were supposed to lead it. And then it was the whole Christian theology thing, like humans were meant to lead angels at some point and stuff like that. So the humans were originally made for more, but never got to achieve it because things fell apart during the Holy War. So this arbiter that's trying to make her perfect soldiers might find out, oh, the human design is where it's at. I need to mimic that as much as possible while taking parts of these animals for extra defense and offense capabilities and whatnot. So there is that angle you could take. Like she takes the human design and perverts it a bit. Perverts the original plan, the original design. Human body plan is still pretty good for soldiers, though. Good on land and sea. Only one that doesn't work for grazer air. Yeah. Give them some wings. Just pop them out of the bag like this gorilla. Man, can you imagine how big wings would have to be to lift a gorilla? Oh, I'm on the nerve. That hurts. It doesn't hurt. It's just, you can feel it. You can certainly feel it. But anyway, there's a lot of cool pictures out there. A lot of good inspiration. Let's see if I snagged any more. And then you could have something like this. That's just kind of spooky looking. Just no mouth or anything. Got a third eye going on there, it looks like. A lot of pride, deadly sin as a physical form trope shows it as being that as a being that absorbs other beings to truly protect themselves. So that tracks. Look at Big Brain Wisp over there. Human plus X is cool. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, so her whole thing here is, when I say her, I'm referring to the arbiter that is making these things when she shouldn't have. She is the arbiter of the Eshens, and she essentially loved her Eshens too much. She tried to do too much for them. And was very aggressive in her time during the heavens, and kept trying to get more and more and more for him. The whole reason Eshens have magic is because she kept fighting for it. She's like, my people need this, they deserve this, blah 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 blah. So when during the whole creation thing, they were like, fine, you know, just whatever gets you to stop fussing. Your Eshens have magic. A little more involved than that, but that's the idea. So that's how they got that. And then when essentially the devil of this world is doing his thing and gets thrown out of the heavens, you know, and becomes the devil of that world and causes it's mirroring the Christian theology, right? So, you know, when Lucifer fell and took a third of the angels with him, that's essentially what happens in this world. He doesn't quite take this arbiter with him when he falls, but he plants the bug in her ear. And it's like, you know, you could do this and grab the Keshanite and take this and all that. And she starts doing that behind the scenes, like even after the war happened. And then she gets caught and then she gets yeeted out. So there's a time period in there. Oh, Eastgillen followed me on Twitch. Thanks, man. I need to set up the little fanfare. But anyway, there's a time period in heaven where she has access to things where she can make other species and races and whatnot. So, and then she comes down to the planet and then has to do it the hard way. So, special snowflake race. Yeah. So, not a turncoat, but yeah, that's the thing. She she just really wanted to give her people, because these arbiters, their job is to protect their people, right? Or watch out for them. And she just wanted to give them as much as possible and was just, you know, kind of pushy. So, you know, that's how they got a little extra. And then the devil planted the seed in her mind and just promised her one thing, you know, it's like, oh, it'll totally work out, you know, knowing it wouldn't, and just corrupt everything. So yeah, very much corrupted. My nose is itching. And then when she falls, she falls from the heaven, and then as a character continues to fall because she just becomes angry after that point. It's like, well, I got threw out for, you know, trying to give my people more, and just gets lost in her own anger and falls farther and farther and farther and farther. Gets blindsided. So these things are more or less mad scientist creatures, or is she responsible for multiple races and they all disappear as she passes? So that's the thing. So when the world was originally made, and these different species, they were all made by the main god of that world, and then the arbiters were put in charge of them. And then when they were put in charge of them, that's when the connection was formed. So that's why when she dies, the Eshens die. Now the things she made, and this is a point that comes up in the world, is that they are arbiterless creatures. So some are like, you have no souls, you were just made. But the arbiter that is essentially Mother Nature in this world adopts all of them. That's who they all worship, if the beast folks are religious in any capacity. But like that's how it goes behind the scenes. Mother Nature adopts all of them because she's already taking care, you know, of all the trees and plants and animals and stuff. She's like, well, y'all can just join my fold since I'm already watching the animals and you're kind of animals anyway. So she watches out for them. So yeah, so the other part of the question is, yeah, I'm thinking she makes multiple races trying to get it right and just trying different things. Praise be to the divine crazy cat lady. Yeah? I like that. Oh, she's the crazy cat lady. But I guess you could say a mad scientist kind of thing. They were made to be servants to her, essentially. Their whole purpose was to serve her and the Eshens, because Eshens are better, as far as she's concerned. So I just got a message. I gotta make sure this is not terribly pressing. Nope. Sure. It's hard to find animal humanoid pictures on Pinterest that aren't either furry or trying to be super sexy. Can't find normal art. Arbiters are tied by essence, but only the one in the beginning. The extras are kind of like the dwarves originally in Tolkien's world. Yeah, something like that. That's also how I have... They're not dwarves, but kind of. They lived underground inside mountains and stuff. Nobody knows who they were. They're like, they just find these old ruins and they're like, who built all this stuff? And what happened was, behind the scenes, like their arbiter got killed off by another arbiter, like way back when the world was just getting developed. So they've been gone a long time. I think that would be an important bit of lore for you to look up and read. I forget how much lore. I do not know much Lord of the Rings lore at all. But I'll make a note. Let's see. Wisp says, look up dwarf lore. Lord of the Rings. Keyword. I got it. You get it wrong and people get angry with you. Well, you were running a Lord of the Rings game for them, so, you know, it was kind of important in that particular scenario. They were made outside of original creation, essentially. Oh, okay. I mean, it's kind of cool. The latecomers. See, I also like this. Where am I gonna put this? See, he's crawling around, getting down like a normal gator, but you look at his limbs and it's like, oh, he's like got arms and he can stand upright. Like that's, so imagine that coming for you like on all fours real fast, and it gets to you and then it stands up and just pulls out a giant sword. It's like, or the other way around, you're like, you see him with the sword standing up and you're like, I'm gonna run away. And then he gets down on all fours. It's like, oh my gosh. Like, that'd be the ultimate warrior right there, wouldn't it? I guess he can't fly. Can't fly. The gator with wings. Oh, well, here you go. Ask and you shall receive. There's a gator with wings. That's just a dragon. It's a weird looking dude. Do something weird like this. The hands, I don't think would be very effective, but like, those feet are pretty cool. They could be grabbing stuff. He's got the wings. Not really a face. You can just see and get whatever sounds out he needs. You know, just something like that. It was built for utility. Just one single purpose. Which, you know, could branch out. Like, your single purpose is fighting, but that could branch out into flying, swimming, running, climbing, you know. So these are going to be a collection of specialized warforged race, basically applying the human body plan to specific existing creatures. Something like that, or taking pieces from creatures, concepts, and then fusing it all together to make the ultimate thing. Flight of the Dragons in old 80s cartoons, they tried to create a science to dragon fight. They fought a science. Changing what exists instead of creating, yeah. Or, you know, taking what exists, fusing it all together to make something new, like this. So. But I also feel like lore-wise it would make sense as she works on these creatures. The closer they get to human, the better they are. So she's like trying to find that happy middle ground. Because like, I like the idea of them not just being uncontrollable, the more animal-like they are, but just unsustainable. Like, they just die. They don't make it because like they've just... nothing's right, you know, their instincts are wired for something else and they're in this weird body and trying to take orders and everything. Like, it just, their bodies just cease to function, you know. Major depression. It just ruins their whole body on the inside. My system, death can be mitigated through metacurrency or rewarded with said currency. Oh, you're way back there, aren't you? Way back there. I wonder if that was an old chat that like got stuck in the pipeline. I was wondering if she lost her creation privileges and is doing amazing. Well, yeah, that's one. That part I'm still working on. Because I'm trying to figure out how much she did while in heaven. Because if she does it in heaven, I can use that to like where she could make like a bunch all at once and just plant them in the world, and maybe that's how she gets found out and yeeted. Now, if she's trying to do this down on Earth, or whatever, you know, the planet, the world they're on, she would be having to use the Kesho Knight, and things would be far less effective, and it would be much slower. Now, I did start trying to write a story. It was actually, I was trying to write this story before I hopped on the one I'm on now. Because I was just kind of struggling and wasn't going where I wanted, and I felt like I was banging my head too much. So I was like, I'll set it on the shelf, see what I can cook up while I work on this other one, kind of deal. She captures a human and experiments on him. Like, that's the main character, is the human she captures as a child, and she raises him and because I think that's like the conclusion she comes to. She cannot make the perfect soldier. She is going to have to raise the perfect soldier. So she captures a human because she knows they were made for more. And she raises him, teaches him to be a soldier since day one. And then when he gets older, she does start experimenting on him and like fusing him with Kesho Knight and giving him weird abilities and stuff. So, and of course, you know, he ends up fleeing, running away, finding his own life, and then all that good stuff. So, is she snatching other races and converting them like Fallout's FEV? No, I don't think so. I think she, except for the human I just mentioned. Man, this feels good on my back. Anyway, we've been at it for a couple hours now, so I'm getting hungry. But I wish I'd remembered to bring up Kesho. I guess I want to start having Kesho Knight world building streams, right? Hangout stream, world building streams, because we all like world building, and Kesho Knight has a ton of it that I ignore it as much as possible until I'm writing something and it's like, okay, I have to figure out what this is, but I need to get it. Because this current lady I'm working with, she was asking me some questions, and I was like, yes. Checks in the mail kind of thing, you know, working on it. So yeah, maybe we'll do it. Maybe not a regular, like every week, but there's definitely, I have a lot of work I could be doing that would only make writing future books and stories easier. And you know, if we develop something in the world and then go later to write a book, it could change at that point if the book needs it to change. But this is where the world building gets super difficult in a series of books in the same universe, because what you can change decreases with each book you write, because you're like, nope, you have written this in the stone. You have to work with it. Like the first book I wrote, I've already shot myself in the foot a little bit. Like there's things like, I should have done that a little different, but I'm stuck with it now. So gotta work with what you write. So try and get it figured out ahead of time. Save yourself some heartache. Because sometimes, you know, you can come up with a really cool world and all this cool stuff, but then when you go to write the story, it's like, dang it, that I need that part of the world to change in order for the story to work, in the sense that it makes sense. Sometimes to remove plot holes, but sometimes just to tell a better, more interesting or flavorful story. But like I said, when you're making a series of them, mechanically the world building has to be sound. So it's difficult, man. Bigger the foundation, the higher the tower, but you always end up built into corners. Yeah, something like that. Also, this guy's feet are weird, man. They're like monkey hands. I was away for a while. When I returned, the stream was not up to date, so you were way back there. I figured. It's all good, though. Several times ironbound, but that was nice. RPGs, you can make an adventure that changes it. You can also just drop a second edition, or a third edition, or a fourth edition. You can also remold the world as a major... Yeah, so you can do that. You can have a Final Fantasy VI situation where the world gets blown up. Or Final Fantasy XIV, didn't they do that when that came out? The launch was so bad that they quite literally destroyed the world and started over, which I thought was super cool. I was not a part of it, but just the way they handled that, I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, just do all that. And it worked out for them. So before we go, well, yeah, Dave, and I think they had like maybe it was a week-long or 48-hour event. There was just this monster of a boss roaming the world, and he had 10 bazillion HP, and people were just trying to see how much damage they could do to it before the event was over. And then I think the opening cutscene for Final Fantasy XIV now it's been out for a long time, is kind of that final fight that they were doing. So that's super neat. That's super cool. Like this, like they admitted, yep, this was kind of a flop. We messed up. We want to try again. So here's a little fun thing we can do on the way out, and then use that. And it became, that world-ending event became part of the lore and the world of Final Fantasy XIV. So that was super cool. Very clever, very neat, very fun. But coming up, I got my sticky notes here. I got people I'm going to reach out to about the con, or from the con, and see if they want to join streams. So I'll have more players. Yes, if I get off my butt and order some copies of my own book. So when we do the Bashkin Bash on the 17th, where we talk about my book, and everybody tells me why they hated it, I'm going to do a giveaway. I don't know how many copies yet. I'm thinking one hardback cover, and then like a couple softback covers maybe of the book, but I'm going to order them to my house, sign them, and then mail them out to winners. I got to figure out how to do a proper, get everybody's names in the chat that's viewing or wants to enter the drawing and do all that. I gotta figure out how to do that. So we're gonna do that. And then the guy who made Streamlined Heroes, I'm gonna ask him. I asked him at the con if he wanted to come on the channel and stream, if he was comfortable with that, and he said absolutely. So we're definitely gonna do that at least once. And then there was this lady called the Blind Bard. I did not get to talk to her, but I saw her there, and she is a tabletop player and is blind, and she has braille dice that she uses, but she has a channel, hasn't posted on it in a while. So I want to get her on for an interview, talk to her, see if she's interested in that. The guy who made Adventurous, when he gets his... I've already talked about that, we're going to do that. When he gets his update. But I do have scheduled the 15th. So next Friday, not this Friday, the next Friday. This guy working on a VTT called harpy.gg. If you want to go look it up, it's totally free. He showed me some stuff on it, and it's really cool what he's doing. He's really leaning into the community side of things on it, which is interesting. It's very, very interesting, the stuff he wants to do, and it's pretty sharp. And then I reached out to the guy who made the Questline VTT, and he said he would love to come on and do an interview. And his VTT is also super cool, but like in totally different ways. So that'll be interesting to see those two and get what you need. And then she's super nice. Oh, did you actually know her or talk to her? The Blind Bard? I wanted to talk to her, but I didn't know what I was going to say, so. I am great at approaching women. So, reaching out to those. Do I have anything else set in stone on the calendar? Yeah, long conversation with her twice. Well, she was at the brewery with us, but she was like at the complete opposite end of the table. It was a long table, and I was at one end, and she was all the way at the other end. Oh, you know what? I have another YouTube call in like an hour and a half. I forgot about that. Oops. Moss and Stone Thursday. I gotta get some games scheduled. Also, we have a Planar Crossroads chat this weekend. I'm learning things, guys, about my own schedule. Oh no. Yeah, Harpy. So the Harpy one's the only thing I have on the calendar. Harpy on the 15th. Bashkin Bash on the 17th. So super looking forward to those. But lots of things coming in. I need to learn how to make games faster. As in games to run, not entire systems. And they get more of those play, because Moss and Stone's just sitting here collecting dust. It's not getting any work done, because it's just waiting on being tested. So, I'm going to pause my GMs here. And I think that's it. That's a lot to work with, a lot to do. Like I said, I got more players, potential players to reach out to. And I'll probably do that while I'm eating my lunch. So, Thursday, 1 o'clock this week, we'll be back from Moss and Stone. I have no idea what we're going to do, because like I said, it just needs testing. Maybe we'll run some encounters or something. I don't know. Polish it, make a player manual to hand out, a quick start guide or something. Because I do need something to give players that doesn't have a bunch of developer notes in it. Like, fix this, do this. They don't need all that. So, come on and write some encounters. Well, then I have to make a map, and then I have to do it. You know how it is. Technically, Dave, I got 3 one-shots I could run for Moss and Stone. I just don't. So, I just need to run them. Get some players. And set up games. You know, reach out to people. That thing I hate doing. So yeah, I'm gonna go eat and do these things before the YouTube call. I will see y'all Thursday at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time for Stone and Moss. Moss and Stone. I'm looking for the button. I found the button.